Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and this morning I'm looking at a book which has come to us from the Law Society. It's called the Solicitors Handbook and it's for the year 2015. We've reviewed the book before and I'd be grateful if you have a look on the web and in the journals to see the review. This is the actual book here. See the front cover? It's been written by two people, Andrew Hopper, Queen's Counsel, and Gregory Treverton-Jones, Queen's Counsel. There's the spine and then there's the back, which you can see. You've also got some useful shaded areas to find the various parts of the book which you might be looking specifically for. For instance, the appendices at the back have got quite a substantial area. Let me just show you the book first of all. Right at the back you've got the index, which is extremely helpful. Then at the front, if we go straight there, there's the front page there. Then you've got a number of other publications all together in the Legal Handbook series from the Law Society. Then that's the actual front page. Then you've got the contents itself, and you can see there's a great deal in it. And then of course the appendices at the back, and then there's a foreword to the original edition, which is some years ago now. And then there's another preface to the earlier editions, and then a preface to the new edition, which is well worth reading because that puts into perspective where we are today. The law is as stated on the 1st of September 2014. Then there are a load of cases there, and then statutes again. Then you get into the actual body copy of the work. Let's go to chapter 2, the regulation and authorization of business entities. And you see you've got the heading and then you've got paragraph numbering, which you can see quite clearly at the side. And you don't actually have effectively footnotes. You do get the occasional footnote, as you can see there. And you do get some highlighted areas when they're dealing with specific information, management of your business, for instance. That's actually highlighted, which gives you some idea. Then of course at the back, having dealt with that, money laundering and fraud is a very important area of course, which must be looked at, and there's a special area for that now. And then you get to the appendices themselves, which are there, part 8. And that's a very important area because it's got the Solicitors Regulatory Authority principles, and it's got a whole series of extremely useful appendices. In fact, there are, I think, 20. Yeah, 20 in total. So that's the book. It runs to about just under 700 pages. It's a paperback and it's quite useful. It's something every solicitor should have. Now, my wife and I have written a review of this book and we've given it the title, A Comprehensive Law Society Publication which remains essential for all solicitors in practice. And this is what we say. We've reviewed this excellent work on a few previous occasions, and the new 2015 edition does not disappoint. The Solicitor's Handbook remains, in our view, a book which all practitioners should own, and is comparable with the Bar Handbook from LexisNexis, which is essential as a reference guide for Counsel. It often surprises us that neither of these two works are actually sent to every relevant practitioner each year as part of the cost when they renew their subscriptions to practice. It would make sense, we think, to include this publication each time so that lawyers and our regulators know what is going on now we have entered the annual fee era. That's certainly for Counsel, which allows us to remain as practitioners with all sorts of threats if we don't pay up. Now, if you think about it, every solicitor should really have this, and every barrister, of course, should have the Bar Handbook. But enough of this sensible suggestion. The 2015 edition has excelled itself with a wide range of updates to reflect the significant regulatory changes in 7 main areas covered on the back page, namely the following. Referral fees, CFAs, entities, referrals, consumer credit, abolition of the assigned risks pool, and the level of fines that can be imposed by the Solicitors Disciplinary Tribunal, the SDT, following the case of Fulgers and Andersons. Now, the 2015 handbook remains in the capable hands of Andrew Hopper and Gregory Treverton-Jones since they embarked on this undertaking in 2007. And if you read the various prefaces which I indicated at the front, which sort of cover down the years, the reader can see how much change the legal profession has undergone recently and probably will continue to undergo with the regular regulatory changes. So the word revolution is apt to describe what engulfed the profession in 2007, as one period of upheaval has now been followed by another. And is the end in sight? Well, that's probably doubtful. As the authors say, quote, "The effects of the revolution over the last 7 years will continue to play out in the months and years ahead, which is why you really do need this handbook to keep up with all the things those running the profession are doing to us." And they go on to say that this is, quote, "not to say that yet further revolution can be ruled out." They continue with the most important point as we head for the general election in May 2015 and whatever could follow it. Quote, "The present government has pursued an agenda that seeks to reduce regulatory burdens on professions and businesses." We would probably use the word allegedly here. They continue, "Politically, we may see pressure for the abolition of the Legal Services Board and consolidation of legal regulation under one regulator. This particular tidbit of comment will be welcomed by the vast majority of practitioners, judging by the comments we've heard at this year's professional conferences, where concerns over regulation remain high on the list of grievances, even though lawyers are told that the regulatory touch is very light in practice." But they would say that, wouldn't they? Let me conclude by saying that this year's handbook remains the prime publication for the legal profession, and you cannot afford to be without it. It gives you a little bit of comfort, of a comfort blanket, if you ever need to find a passage through the regulatory maze that governs the conduct of today's solicitors in practice. So thank you, Messrs Hopper and Treverton-Jones. We appreciate the work you put into this year's handbook, and as I've said, the law is as stated on the 1st of September 2014. That's the book again, just to see it nice and light, see the back of it, and then just opening it up in the middle. We've got quite a lot of stuff here. European cross-border practice, there we go, right in the middle, chapter 9. And again, as I say, it's a very useful book, and it has everything I think you really will need to know at your fingertips. So thank you to Law Society Publishing for this new legal handbook in their series, and do think very carefully about whether you need it for your firm's library. Thank you to all concerned anyway. Bye-bye.